Ska-doosh! Jack Black is back as Po in the first Kung Fu Panda adventure in 8 years on the big screen. Let's talk about Kung Fu Panda 4. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Kung Fu Panda 4. This is in theaters right now, and it is, of course, a continuation of the long-running now Kung Fu Panda franchise. We're going to launch into all of the specifics of this film and my thoughts on it in just a moment. First, though, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got movie and TV reviews all up on the channel here. It's what we do, and just about every day I try to post something, so there's always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing. Click that notification bell down there. Click that like button. Comment below. All of that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. And you can check out my letterbox as well. It tracks all the movies I've been watching and what grades I've given them. They do stars, not letter grades like I do, but it's still about the same. And you can check that out in the description below. And sometimes I write reviews for these movies as well, and I have written one for Kung Fu Panda 4, so you can check that out there. But all right, let's get to this film. So this is the fourth feature film. Now, there have been some spin-offs. I know there was at least one cartoon series, I think maybe on Peacock, but all the DreamWorks animated movies eventually get series. Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon, and Kung Fu Panda is no exception to that. But this is the first full-length feature film since 2016. So it's been definitely a few years. And look, the timing is right, because the first of these movies came out in 2008, which means people that were, like 8, 10, in the tween range are now, having young kids because they're in their, mid to late 20s at this point. And so it's now becoming a generational kind of film that, okay, I grew up with this, I can share this now with my youngsters, and maybe they've introduced them, to some of the older Kung Fu Panda movies on DVD or on streaming. So, look, the timing is right for this, even though it does seem a little like, okay, why 8 years after the last one? Which, honestly, Kung Fu Panda 3 was a bit lackluster for my taste as well. The first one I really liked. I probably gave that an A-. The second one, a bit lower, probably a B or something. The third one was like a C or a C+. It was a bit middling for me. And unfortunately, that is where this one kind of lands too. So we'll talk about the reasons why here in just a moment. But of course, we've got Jack Black returning as Po, and other voices from previous installments. Dustin Hoffman playing, his master, of course. James Hong, Bryan Cranston, Ian McShane, all of them are back. But returning is, or new, I should say, to the series, are a whole host of Asian American performers. Ke Huy Quan, Ronnie Chang, Laurie Tan Chin. Viola Davis also joins up, as well as the villain, the Chameleon. But we have Awkwafina in this movie as well. And I implore any casting directors out there for animated movies, can we please stop putting Awkwafina in every GD animated movie out there? This is now her third voice role in less than a year, and there's a fourth one coming up in the new John Krasinski. I don't think it's all animated. I think it's a hybrid live action animated movie, and it's called If, and she's in that as well. She's done 8 animated voice roles, not even including the upcoming one, since 2016, starting with Storks, which I believe was another DreamWorks movie. But in any event, I am sick of Awkwafina. I talked about this in Migration, which just came out. I mean, it's still in theaters, but it came out right around Christmas. And then she was in The Little Mermaid last year. She gives us the same voice performance every single time. And I don't necessarily dislike Awkwafina. I like her live action stuff. I loved her in this, dramatic movie she won a Golden Globe for, called The Farewell. She was in a fun movie a few months ago called Quiz Lady on Hulu. Her live action performance is fine, but as a voice actress, she doesn't cut it for me. Every single performance is the same. I am sick of her. And I didn't know she was in this movie. I don't watch previews. I don't know if, you heard her voice in the preview or whatever. So when she came up, I was just like, oh, God, this again. So she plays this person. Well, she's a fox, but she plays a fox, a thief, and she gets locked up. But turns out she may be the only one who knows where the chameleon is. So most of the movie ends up being her and Poe's adventure to find the sorcerer, or the chameleon, rather. Meanwhile, some of the characters that we know and love, those specifically voiced by Bryan Cranston and James Hong, go on their own quest to try and find Poe and figure out if he's okay and all of that. So that's the bulk of the movie is Jack Black and Awkwafina. So can't really get super behind that, but okay. The biggest problem with this movie, though, is it's just not that funny. There are some jokes for sure, but I would say the hit ratio is only about 30% on those jokes. They really are trying. And look, at this point, we get it. Poe is fat. He likes to eat. A lot of the jokes, are sort of surrounding that kind of narrative. And it's like, all right, we got it. Have we not done enough fat jokes and food jokes from the first 3 movies? Wisely, the Kung Fu Panda kids from the 3rd one are not in this. That was a real problem DreamWorks had with 3rd installments for a while, because Shrek, they had the kids. Kung Fu Panda 3, they had the kids. They don't really do much for me, I guess. For the Q Factor, they're okay, but, I'd like to focus on some of the characters that we already know. And none of the original, sidekicks are here in this. They appear over the end credits in non-speaking roles, but Angelina Jolie didn't come on for this, and Jackie Chan isn't here for this, so a lot of those characters are missing. And I would say they're a little missed. But look, Kung Fu Panda at the end of the day really is Poe's journey, and so focusing on him is not a problem. But this movie just doesn't bring the funny as I thought it should have. And another issue is the runtime is pretty short, which is fine for a kids movie, but it actually resolves quite quickly. Like, once we find the chameleon, it's a pretty easy takedown, I thought, and so I'm not sure that really is coming together either. However, there are some good life lessons here. I think kids movies should always have some good life lessons. I think this one does, including stuff that we learn from the Awkwafina Fox character. But in any event, this for me was a pretty big miss. I leave it right in that same range as Kung Fu Panda 3. I give it a C. However, would I be interested in Jack Black revisiting this character every 7 or 8 years? Look, James Hong is like in his mid-90s, so I think this probably will be the last adventure we will have in the Kung Fu Panda world with him. Unfortunately, because he kind of steals the show. Every scene he's in is hilarious. But yeah, I wouldn't mind revisiting, Poe and friends every few years, but this just did not do it for me. So, all right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.